Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific North, fresh from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
Sweet, sweet Mariners, baby. I don't know how I feel about them right now.
You neglected to say the still first place Mariners, so feeling fine, feeling fancy. Eh,
Sure.
I mean, got to try to spin something. Um, it was another mediocre week. Back at the 500 level. So we'll see how it all plays out. Yeah. Assistants, man. Can't live with them. Can't live without them. So we'll jump in to the last homestand against the Orioles and the Red Sox. But before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about us. If you're looking for a guy that will be patrolling down in downtown Seattle, going to take in all of the World Cup glory on the same field that the U.S. took down the Aussies last Friday in epic fashion. You're looking for a guy like me, your boy Coach Red. You can find me on X at the Real Coach Red, on Instagram at the Real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the Real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment or two. And if you're looking for a guy who is probably beyond thrilled more than anyone else that there are a bunch of righty starters so all his left-handed brethren can get at bats this week and hopefully find a little bit more success. It's Kane.
Yep, I'm Kane. Find me over on Twitter, Kane2406, TikTok, Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False. Do it.
Mariners actually started off the week really well. You know, pitching was at a premium. Cal comes back, gets a late hit to knock in two, I believe,
Yep.
to put you ahead, and a lot of momentum building. Lose the following day in a relatively close game, and then you bounce back and win the game on Wednesday. Turn around over the weekend, have a Red Sox team that had been struggling all year to hit with any real consistency, and I found the player who I now is a nemesis that I will hate for the rest of the year. I think his name is Tyler Durbin.
Yes.
It's close to
Every time
Tyler.
he.
It's close to Tyler Durden, which is from Fight Club, but I referred to him. I don't know what movie it's from, but there's a joke in the movie about some strain of Mary Jane Wanna called Purple Durban. So I just called him Purple Durban the whole weekend.
Yeah, dude,
And
he had our number.
I
It's
don't
annoying.
he's the new Manny Margot.
Sure. Yeah. Dude, it's so frustrating too. Cause like I thought they were going to do so much better. Can we get the most obvious thing out of the way real quick? What do you think they got to do with Rob Refsnyder?
I mean, I texted you yesterday and said I'm over it, especially when old Purple Durbin turned a double play by keeping his foot on third with runners on first and second, then easily throwing him out. Ref had that little pocket where he had a couple of like a week and a half worth of good games where he was being a little bit more productive. I saw somebody post something today that said, so far in this month, Rob Refsnyder is playing better than Colt Emerson by by OPS or something like that. I'm like, whatever. It's run its course. The tough thing is you don't really have a guy that can come in and fill that hole necessarily, right? I
Agreed.
don't think that this team is gonna run three catchers I don't think that's feasible to do.
No.
And it's not like parade. I know Garver took some ground balls at first base when you had Naylor with the oblique again, but that's not a feasible option. So you'd
Exactly.
have to be looking more towards the trade market or finding a guy that got DFA'd. I mean, Wilson got a hit over the weekend, stole a bag, the guy that picked up from the Orioles, but I don't. The thing that's nice about him is he can play both corners of the infield and the outfield, so you get that infield outfield versatility. But ideally, this whole week really showed you, especially when you faced three lefties in a row, how much this team misses Randy Arozarena as he's coming back from the hamstring. Looked at, I think it was RotoWire today, said that he could probably be back this week, which would be
It,
great.
here's the thing, too. Once Randy gets back onto the team, Rob Refschneider will hit the IM. I think that's more than plausible of happening
Yeah, push the can down the road a little bit. And
because it's 6 mil. Like they are stingy about cutting their fat. We had a whole year of Mitch, 2 years of Mitch Garver. I mean, Garver was better last year, but when he was making what he's making and he's hitting at the Mendoza line, not good. But Ref has also been the worst statistical hitter that Jerry has brought in.
well, and I mean, they've cut ties with Pollock, and I think he only came in about 3 mil. They cut ties with Colton Wong, Tommy LaStella, right? These are all the platoon bats. And the one shining piece was Dom Canzone and his ability to hit lefties a little bit better. You saw JP in the game yesterday throw down a bunt for a base hit, especially when he was struggling on the week.
Ooh,
And you've got good pieces, and you do have lefties that can hit lefties. I mean, it didn't pan out very well for many Mariners hitters this whole week, but
mm,
you still have Cole Young who's done well enough against lefties. You've seen it with Colt Emerson. You know that JP can grind out and put a ball into left field. And Naylor is Naylor and he can hit lefties and righties. So you have that
yeah,
versatility there. And it would be nice to get another right-handed bat, but you just get Victor Robles back, who has typically hit lefties very well. He is fun in the outfield. He is a menace on the base paths. And
yes,
then throwing in, significant things, because when you really look at where this team sits right now, you've got three guys on the team who I think could feasibly be off the team, and that's Wilson, Ref Snyder, and Connor Joe. And two of
because they
those
just
guys will be
DFA'd
getting,
Mastro too.
well, we'll get there. Uh, Not shocked, especially when they picked up Wilson, because similar profile, and I think that Mastro will clear waivers and then get assigned to AAA. So,
Yes,
that probably will happen, right? It's not like Mastro's been great. Even last year, I
no,
was like tired of him, and I was happy when he was off the team. He provided a little bit of spark when he was with the team this year, and needed to because of the slew of injuries they had, and his positional versatility really helped out. But when you get Randy back, someone's going. It's probably you're sending Connor Joe back down, or you're having Ref Snyder hit the IL. And then once the elusive Brendan Donovan is back, then Connor Joe goes down, and now you've got Wilson that's manning a position, but who knows for how long. That's definitely a position that I think they will address is a right-handed bat. I don't know how they're necessarily going to do it. And I was talking to someone over the weekend, and they were like, "Oh man, Laz is killing it. Like, he should be up instead of Ref side." I go, "He's Luke Rayleigh, right? He's Dom Canzone right now, and you have those
yeah,
guys in there playing. Dom Canzone's been probably one of your best hitters on the year, and Luke has had hot stretches that put him, extremely high in the WAR for the right field position. So I don't think bringing him up solves any problem, and you don't have any real
you don't need another
big,
lefty bat.
yeah,
In
you
all
don't
honesty,
exactly. You need another right-handed bat, and um,
this would be the perfect case for all of the Brendan Davis fans if he wasn't hurt right now.
exactly, yeah. If
Like,
if he comes back, I think that he's on this team lickety split, right?
and I think he's getting significant playing time because He has to if you want to get good at bats from him, I think.
I mean, I don't think he gets
Not every day.
significant, right? They're still going to platoon him, and
Sure.
he might get a DH AB. And
Sure.
I want to see them actually give Cal. I know they're working him back and they're trying to build his confidence coming off of a good, you know, rehab stint this week, kind of par for the course for the rest of the team. But I need Cal to get a little bit of rest so that way he is ready to rock and roll, and
Yeah.
the thought of having the two catchers and the catcher that's in the game gets hurt, and then you're playing rotate the DH because you don't have one anymore. I just don't love it, and I don't want to be in that situation. I do think that Cal needs a little bit of time here and there, right? The
Yes.
guy's played his tail off since he's got up to the league, and this is the first time that he's actually had an injury that has knocked time off of his clock.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
mean,
that getting him a rest day once a week is imperative.
yeah. I saw some good signs from him. A lot of good swings up in the zone that he wasn't having post or pre-injury. But you're seeing some life. I mean, there were a couple swings that were pure daddy hacks, and I love to see it from him because with an oblique thing, we saw how it affected Luke last year,
Yeah.
and I just saw some positive things. He looked a little bit more limber behind the dish this week. Still want to see them throw dudes out, but that's
Well,
just baseball
he
now.
did throw a guy out, and also it'll be nice for him to get basically, I think right now, as it projects, the Mariners only face one lefty on the week in their upcoming roadie versus the Pirates and the Cleveland Guardians. And you look out, you don't have to face Paul Skeens. So
Yeah,
um, it puts him in a
yeah.
good position to do stuff. And I feel like Cal during his rehab hit primarily left-handed, and that's where he was getting really hot. And I think that giving him additional at-bats from the left side right now is going to be good for Cal and his return back from the IL.
Agreed.
All right, you ready to hop into some stats of the week?
Yeah.
The top hitter who was under the 10 at bat minimum, and he was also DFA'd, was Miles Mastrobuoni. He batted 286. He had two hits on the week and one run before being DFA'd. And then we'll go into, I just wanted to throw him in there because it's pretty crappy when your top hitter for the week got DFA'd and he batted 286. Let's get into, there's a tie at the top. One of them was my pick to click for the week. It was Julio Rodriguez with a 235 average, four hits, three runs, a double, a homer, and three RBIs.
Just he's having a problem putting the ball in the air right now.
He is having a little launch angle problem. I mean, he did hit the homer to get the double, but he is still hitting the ball very hard, very consistently, which
Yes.
usually when you hit August for Julio, those hard hits that we've seen the whole year start finding holes more and more as the year goes along, right? And I think that with Julio, especially this week, you saw good things. You saw him getting out on the base pass. I believe he had one stolen base, got caught stealing at third. But especially with him coming off a hamstring, him getting in motion on the base pass this week, I thought was a good sign for his overall health and playing good center field right now too. We've seen the
Yeah.
ups and downs, and he's playing a very good center field right now.
Had one atrocious game over the weekend, and I think he also got a home run in that game where he struck out three times egregiously bad and had horrendous swings. And then he
Yep.
put one over to left center, and I was just like, oh my God, what is happening? I mean, the consistency, right? This is what we've talked about with this team, and they need to
Well,
be consistently okay.
the hitters were consistently bad this whole week. I mean, when I'm talking excluding Mastroboni and hitting the top five guys, um,
And one's my pick to click, who probably gets thrown in because he was bad.
He's actually not the last person I'm talking
That's
about. His lowest
crazy.
average has 150 on the week
Oh
out of the
God.
top five hitters. So, like I said, bad week for the hitters, but it wasn't a bad week for Dom Canzone. 235. Well, it was because he leaves clutching his hamstring in yesterday's game, but he batted 235 on the week. He had four hits, three runs, two homers, four RBIs. One of those was a solo shot, a Dom Canzone special, right? Solo shots, but it was left on left and it was Oppo Taco. I mean, in this economy, who would have thunk?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to think of Dom Canzone this year because I don't know if it's just raising a price tag on him, right, with how well he's playing, or if he's just a significant part of this team now
I
and
th
like ingrained, right? Like
I
what
think
he's doing
that
is so
Dom
fun
Canzone should be your starting DH 5
in the
days a week.
postseason.
No, 5 days a week right now. Like
He's
I think
so
that
good.
if you were going to give Cal 2 days off in a week, he sits one and then he DHs the other one, right? So Dom Canzone, as long as he's healthy, man, he's doing what he needs to do to earn his playing time, and he's done that ever since his call up last year.
It's like a whole different ball player, dude.
He actually made a diving play in the field. He looks better in the field. He doesn't look like a baby deer when he swings the bat sometimes. He's a lot more composed, and he is a lot better when you look at the overall approach at the plate.
Yeah. There's so much yelling going on in my house because little man has his earphones on.
Nice.
Doing?
All right, I'll go to the next player, and
All
that
right.
is Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor hit 200 on the week, hit three hits, one run, one double, one RBI.
Yay, he broke up the no hitter.
He did. Uh, dude,
Bad this week.
like we said, all right, let's keep on rolling. The next highest player was your pick to click, Cal Raleigh, buck 67 on the week, three hits, one run, two RBIs. Those two RBIs coming on Monday.
Yeah, and I think he got robbed a couple times in that first game back, right? Like if he would have just fully swung on that check swing, I think he puts it in the left field. He had another hard hit ball at somebody, but it's just like a lot of bad luck ball, kind of some iffy swings. I think he's still getting settled back in because, of course, you got to get back to MLB speed. And I think he's going to be fine. I just don't like seeing him hit 167.
Well, at least he didn't bat 150 like Cole Young did, but Cole Young did that on three hits as well. He scored two runs, had a double, a homer, and three RBIs.
It's so walked. He also like gets on. A lot of these guys are still getting on base, and that's kind of like the biggest thing. Cal had four walks in like two games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
But
Cole Young still putting up great at bats.
I do want to point out something that I think that we may have never said on the podcast. Dom
Uh,
Canzone leads the team in RBIs for a week. I
yeah,
think even when he hit the three homers in one game, he still did not lead the team in RBIs for the week. So at a resounding four, Dom Canzone, you have broke the mold for this podcast. You are the top RBI guy of the week. Congratulations.
yeah. He's on a
But
generational run.
like I said, Mariners are 3-3 this week, and we just talked about how little production you got out of the lineup. So to be 3-3, the silver lining is the pitching staff was bonkers this week. You've got five relievers that did not give up a run. You've got three starters that had sub two ERAs on the week. And
Yeah.
they looked filthy, and let's get right into it. We'll start with Jose Ferrer, 0 ERA on the week, pitched in one game. He
Coming
gave
off a
up two
meltdown on the
hit,
road,
went
too.
two-thirds of an inning, didn't end the inning, let a little traffic on there, but it doesn't always look pretty, right? But we talk about it almost every week that
I can't
Jose
wait till we
Ferrer's
get to
on.
one person on this list because I know he's on there this week.
There are people on there, but
I
yeah,
know.
Ferrer always on it, right? He's
Yeah.
been on this multiple times, having that 0 ERA on the week, and does it once
Outside of
again.
his outside of his return to the Nationals.
Yeah. Um, Another lefty only got one game this week, 2/3 of innings. Gabe Spire had 2 Ks, did it in epic fashion. I think that this no that the other week was the one where he inherited a runner in third, got all 3 outs
Yeah.
before Criswell went on the IL. But no, he just came in and blew gas, man.
Shoved. Gabe Spire once again. And when that boy is fired up, it is. I just got to give extra love to my lefty brethren. And, what we're seeing out of Gabe Spire lately has just been amazing. This is Gabe Spire you need. This is the Gabe Spire you want. I just want to see him in more games, dude. It feels like Ferrer's the higher leverage lefty now.
Shouldn't be. And I think that Gabe kind of proved it again this week.
Yeah.
Another guy that's just been proving it as well, which also found out on the broadcast yesterday that they it might have been it was either yesterday or Saturday, but they were saying um, they've been pronouncing his name wrong because when he was called up, they asked him like, "How do you pronounce your name? Is it Davila?" And he goes, "Yeah." So then when they met his dad, he's like, "Oh, you've been saying our last name wrong," and he's like, "That's what your son told us, right?" It's Nick Davila.
Yeah, he's been fun. He's been
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
2 games, 2 innings pitched. He had 2 walks, but he also threw in a strikeout in there. And since he's been recalled, I mean, the guy's been everything you want him to be.
It's been playing. The stuff's playing.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've talked about it, but we both like Hoppy very well.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
I think that we'll talk about it a little bit more after the picks to click, but I've got some interesting ways that I think this team can augment itself a little bit. And it is going to get another bullpen arm because I
Have to.
do like you like Davila. I like the stuff from Hoppy, but it's also like how long is that going to continue to play, right? Because
Yeah.
we loved Wilcox early in the year, and his stuff played up big at the beginning and faded pretty quick. So it's like you need more depth in your relievers. But I mean,
Yeah.
Davila has been just what the doctor ordered since being recalled.
Yes. I agree.
And then we'll go to a guy that these next 2 guys, uh, actually the next 5 guys that we talk about, can all kind of fit the mold of returning to form. And the first one is Edward Bizardo, 0 ERA on the week, 3 games, 3 innings pitched, 3 Ks. He's looking like
Filthy.
Bizardo for like for most of the season last year.
Oh,
I'm starting to see the confidence reemerge. I'm starting to see the bite on the slider reemerge, and back to
yes.
form.
Whiffs. He's getting whiffs again. And that's one of the biggest things you need. Bizarro's been awesome. When they first started using him, we all were just like, God, who is this guy? Just an inning eater, right? Like, first call him up, and then it's Dan put him into so many positions last year, and he excelled. And golly, when his stuff works, man, he is electric out there.
Yes, 100%. And another guy that big return to form, Andres Munoz, 0 ERA on the week, pitched in 3 games, pitched 3 innings, had 3 saves, 4 Ks, 2 walks.
When I saw the 101 pop up, I knew it was different.
He's feeling himself.
Like, dude was summoned straight hundo all week. There was nothing really below it unless he threw his slider, which here's the thing about Andres Munoz. His fastball has to play so well for that slider to really get him. Like,
When
I feel
he's
like
on the sliders damn near unhittable. So that makes the fastball play up even more. But
uh,
if you're having trouble like he has with that, you've seen him revert back to the
uh,
fastball and then basically flip flop it in how he usually attacks hitters.
just
So
the
stuff
straight one
plays.
hundo was just blowing me away this week. You
Well,
needed it.
you did. And you needed some good outings from your starters. And you basically got that all week from the guys that started games. Like George Kirby gave up a couple runs, but high on strikeouts again. Emerson Hancock didn't necessarily get as deep as you were thinking, and we found out that the piggyback was back. So you had Bryce Miller start a game. He got piggybacked by Luis Castillo. They haven't revealed the full plan for this week, but I would imagine since they said they're going to rotate who's getting piggybacked and who's doing the piggybacking, I think that you're going to see a Luis Castillo start with an Emerson Hancock piggyback on him. And
Yes.
I think the next person hopefully needs to be George Kirby because I think with how these next three guys have been going, that they need to be getting the ball and not on a 5 inning limit, and one of the guys we'll
Yeah.
talk about. But the guy with the best week was Brian Wu. Well, not the best week, best ERA on the week. 0 ERA, pitched 1 game, went 7 innings, got the win, 9 Ks, 1 walk, only gave up 3 hits.
Guess what? Brian Wu doesn't suck anymore. His words.
Uh, you
Uh
know, Bruce, preach, preach, Brian,
because
preach.
it was his last start where he gave up three, right? And he's like, I just don't want to suck anymore. And it's like, guess what? You didn't this time. It was awesome. Brian Wu was in Brian Wu fashion, dude. It looked like he was just in a trance. Everything was grooving for him. And I mean, brother, when that man just like can pitch without any interruption, it's almost a work of art.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. But there was a guy who had an even better week, and someone on this podcast called it, and that was me. I called it. It was me, Coach Red, right here. I did. Because Logan Gilbert, 1.35 ERA on the week, pitched in 2 games, pitched 13 and a third innings, two wins, 18 Ks, 3 walks, and only gave up 5 hits over 13 and a third. Logan Gilbert, aka Walter,
Yeah.
this like return to form week. He
Yes.
legitimately they were breaking it down in yesterday's game. He didn't even go to the splitty, which has been one of his most devastating pitches until the second half of the game because everything else was playing so well. He hit a hundo on the gun, 99.9 miles an hour. So
Round it
let's
up.
yeah, we're gonna round that thing up. But the dude was just filthy.
I'll tell you what, I hope that Tops, the cards, make a Tops card of his for his two starts this week. And it gives me such a juicy Walter card on MLB The Show. And then I can have Logan Gilbert throw into my juicy Cal Raleigh that I just got. So that would be awesome. But no, Logan was him this week. Still susceptible to the long ball. But when you punch out 18 guys in two starts, it's okay. Your offense showed up behind you as well in those starts, which was pretty great.
Well, and then when he was covering first, he took a little bit of a tumble, ended up going against the next batter. And I was like, I think if they made that play at first, that he gets Jaron Duran and gets through back-to-back starts of 7 innings.
Yeah,
Like that's how close we were,
it
throwing
was a
their
bad,
way.
bad. That's what a lot of people are getting on Naylor about. Is that was such an unserious flip to first.
But I did also love on Saturday that, or no, it was yesterday when Logan Gilbert picked off Purple Durbin at first base.
Yeah, he did.
And he had him hosed.
Oh, hold. Okay, we'll talk about this after this because I want to talk about one player that we didn't talk about on the hitter side, but his defense this week is great.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna finish off the pitchers, and we're gonna go to Bryce Miller, who started the piggyback, 1.8 ERA, uh, did take a loss, went 5 innings, 7 Ks, gave up
I
one run.
got, I got so absolutely screwed this week because of the piggyback. I
Well,
mean, granted, I wasn't gonna win. 18 strikeouts is very hard to beat, and plus his ERA. Uh, but I figured we were getting a 9 or 10 strikeout performance from Bryce or better.
I was upset about the piggyback for the first time, truly, because Luis Castillo comes in as a great sixth inning, and the seventh was atrocious. And it
Bad.
just made the game feel like it was so unattainable to come back, right?
Yes.
So when it works, it works. And there's already been criticism, even when it was working. I don't think that they're gonna be fueling that fire. And I think that when you turn around, I think that you can't piggyback Logan. You can't piggyback Wu right now. I don't think you can piggyback Bryce Miller. I think that you do the Emerson Luis thing, and then Luis backs up Kirby on a start, and then after that, Luis has to make his move to the bullpen, unfortunately. Or he gets traded.
Yeah.
Or he gets traded.
Yeah. Because George has just been really bad,
It,
really bad.
I wouldn't say that he's been really bad. He right now is pitching like a middle of the road starter. He's still getting you 6 innings, but he's giving up 3 runs. He's fallen into what Marco Gonzalez gave you for 4 years with the Mariners, right? You
Yeah.
knew you were going to get innings, but you knew that there were going to be some runs given up. And the frustrating thing is there have been starts to games where George looks unhittable. And then he runs into one bad inning, gives up a couple of dingers, and then the start's looked at as a terrible start. When you look at it, he's still sitting around a 4 ERA. That's going to put you middle of the pack if we're any starter in the American
Yeah.
League. He's just not pitching up to the George Kirby that was in the Cy Young contention, the All-Star George Kirby time. And it's what we were used to until last year when he had the injury. And he hasn't gotten back to that same level. But Bryce Miller has. Bryce Miller has been arguably your most effective starter anytime he's been on the hill this year. So you did lose picks to click 0-2. You were within one, now back down 3. So whose defense did you want to talk about before we go
uh,
over to the new picks to click?
you all might know him as JP, but I like to call him John Paul. What he has done at third base this week has been cinema. Oh my god. If this doesn't
The pick that he made, just off to the side, the dive, flip, double play, him cutting across the middle. I think that with the lack of mobility that he has at this point in his career, and
third
why I
base is
think it was causing a lot of trouble with him at shortstop, he's just looking so smooth at third base right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We know he can't make some of the throws. That's just
Honestly,
how
I
it
think that he
is.
can because when you really
Well,
look
there
at
was
it,
one where he played deep and a guy did a little chopper. I understand that he's not getting, he gets to the
he
ball,
did
but it's just too late.
well. I mean, it wasn't going to do that. But when you really look at it, he can make it on the road run,
Yes.
on the throw, on the run throw. Jesus, trying to get all mixed up here. But you've seen him do it from shortstop, and
Yes.
it's with the arm slot that he usually throws with, he's fine to make that throw from third base on the run.
Sure.
The only like throw when you look at arm strength and that kind of puts is that kind of backhand up the line, but he's not having to move as far to get it. And when you're
Yes.
getting that, you're getting it on your back foot with your weight transfer already back, so you can come up and just unload on it. I think he's going to be just fine. And
Just fine.
legitimately, he's gonna play there a lot, even when Brendan Donovan does come back.
Yes.
For I don't think that it will happen, but if he would have played third base the whole year and played defensively like he did this week, we might be talking about a Gold Glove candidate in JP Crawford. I think that his time at shortstop will make sure that it does not happen, but
Yes.
it's
Agreed.
something
But
that
like,
should be studied. Like he looks awesome
yeah,
at third.
I agreed. And he knows that Emerson's basically behind him on any ball that gets to that gap. Because
Yeah.
I've seen Colt almost get there a couple times so far.
Yeah. No, it's played very well, and
Sorry, I just feel like
it's
we
kind
had to
of
touch on it.
yeah, no, and it's kind of like an uplifting story,
Yes.
something like a little bit of a phoenix rising from the ashes. So
I
we're
love it.
gonna give someone that made some picks a couple of weeks ago that didn't pan out so well. Went with Julio and had his worst week. You had George Kirby, who was probably the least effective starter. So we do have the guest picker back to make two more selections and get her on camera now, and she's going to start by picking her pitcher of the week.
Okay, so my picture is Luis Castillo.
Do you have any
Big
reasons
bro.
why you're going with Luis? You think that because he had the rough week this week that he's a good bounce back candidate?
I don't know.
All right, and who are you going to take for your hitter?
Cal Raleigh.
And her
Like my tried
cousin
and true.
also doubled down on the big dumper.
It's
So
because I raised him right so far.
yeah, but Cal, like I said earlier, I think that with some more left-handed at bats, where we've seen the power play very well during his rehab stint, you're going to one park that lends itself a little bit better for the long ball than the other. It's not like Pittsburgh is, hitter's paradise, but you can still park it out at PNC. It's a little bit more difficult in Cleveland. So, um, I think that Cal is a smart choice.
Good job, dude.
All right. Kane, who you got for your pitcher of the
I
week?
gotta triple down. Bryce has looked so amazing in every start. I like this. It's hitting on Brian Lou or Woo territory for me in picks to click this year for him. Uh, Bryce has just looked unhittable for the most part. Yes, he gave up the solo shot, but other than that, you get 8 out of him. A shame he got pulled at 66 pitches in the fifth when you could have gotten 7, possibly 8 from him again.
Hmm.
Uh, would have helped my pick to kick place last week. I still wouldn't have won, but it would have made for a better matchup. Uh, but as you said, you can't handicap some of your best pitchers on this team with the piggyback. So give me a full start from Bryce Miller this week. It's gonna be better for next week. Coach Red, who you taking for your pitcher? You doubling down?
Ah,
You just don't get the
unless
dual
it,
starts.
unless Julio is on a super heater banger out there, um, it's really the only guy that I double down on, right? I like to try and mix it up, especially when it comes to the pitchers. I love my double starts typically. Don't know how that's necessarily going to play out, but I don't necessarily love the matchup with Logan against the Guardians. I feel like he's either
Guardians always get
extremely good or they blow him up. So I'm gonna go with Brian Wu
it's a
coming
good
off,
choice.
like you said, and he said, he doesn't suck anymore. And I hope that he doesn't suck this week. That's all I'm looking for. I like dubs, I like zero earnings, and I like, when they don't suck.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's flip over to the hitter side. Who are you targeting with your
Yes.
hitter of the
I'm
week?
at a handicap this week because like is Luke finally back and healthy? I saw him take a swing over the weekend.
He did take a couple swings over the weekend. he was dealing with the injury, then had the flu bug, so he wasn't even around the team for a couple of days. I think he got back either Friday or Saturday, back with the team. They kind
I
of
don't trust
sequestered him
that
out,
right
but
now. Yeah.
he should be back full go this week.
I just don't trust him right now because it's like he's slumping when he was in the game. Before that, it just his bats weren't looking very crisp. I'm at a disadvantage this week now. Cal's taking. Uh, I could go spicy, and I think I might. Uh, I think Cold Emerson's due for another good week, and I think you're back on the East Coast. He seemed to perform on the East Coast. Uh, his last roadie was pretty all right, so I'm gonna take this roadie and give him another good rookie week. I'm, hoping for a couple dingers, just getting on base, lots of doubles. That's what I'm hoping for. Um, and excellent defense. So give me Cold Emerson this week. I think he's due, especially because what they find in the game his first day off the other day.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, he's been dealing with the little back spasms too, but expect Cold Emerson to go off this week. Coach Red, who you got?
It's tough. I would like to go a little bit of Cole Young going back to Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh boy. But I'm gonna go with something that I think even has a little bit bigger storyline, I think, this week. And it's gonna be Josh Naylor is my pick to click.
Mhm.
He's been hitting the ball harder, more consistently. And when you look at the last three games, going back to Cleveland, a team that traded him away, a team that his brother was on, where he got sent down this year, just make it a double revenge. Do it for your brother. Do it for the guys that didn't want you and traded you away. And I think that Naylor can have a hot week, and you typically see Naylor in bigger moments. And when you look at both the teams they're facing, right, the Pirates have been a little bit of a surprise this year, playing much better. They're right around 500, just like the
It's all that
Mariners.
young talent they called up,
I
dude.
know. And then you've got the Cleveland Guardians, who are a couple of games above 500, that typically give the Mariners fits and did earlier this year. It's time for a little bit of revenge. And I think that realistically, in almost every game this week, outside of Wednesday's game where Kirby is going up against, I think it's Keller, who's been, I think the Mariners have the starter advantage in every other game this week. And
Yes.
if you get another week, especially when we're talking about our high leverage arms, and that's the other point that I want to make. You find out today that, or this week, Carlos Vargas, Matt Brash, and Chriswell are all likely
After the
going to
break.
be on the injured list until the trade deadline. So they're going to
Yeah.
sell that. Those are our replacement bullpen arms. Just prepare yourself for that. But I do think that they can make some play. The other part I alluded to for another reliever and for a right-handed bat.
I just hope it's not like a big old head scratcher on a reliever like Caleb Ferguson was last year, right? Like Caleb Ferguson was fine, but it's like that's not the bullpen arm you needed.
No. And I think that obviously getting Brash back is going to be big. And um, talked about it a little bit. Not sure if I did it on the pod or not, but like Troy Taylor down in AAA, man, the stuff just plays. The accuracy and control wasn't there. Like even during his warm-ups, he did not throw a strike. But the ball comes in and 95, 96 is what's reading on the gun. He hides it very well and it gets on you a lot quicker.
Deceptive.
And the slider has a sweeper slider, whatever you want to call it, has big time movement. Just gaining a little bit more control and that confidence back. That could be another big play to the bullpen. But the
No, you
right-handed
definitely need
the
external.
right-handed bat is what you need. And if you're legitimately still going to look to platoon, and in this case, you might even put Dom Canzone in right field if you're trying to just replace mainly a DH type role. It's there's going to be guys that are available, right? Like Luis Ariz. If you're looking for a contact merchant, like I'm pretty sure you could go get Luis Ariz. You could go get him. He's not
The
having as
Padres.
much, you know, of a year like he's had in the past. But then you can also go and find the guys that, are you looking for a guy that's just going to put it out of the park for you? A
Mhm.
big power bat. Go call up the Orioles and go get Tyler O'Neill that's on a little bit of a down road right now and they've got young talent. Like I think they'd be willing to part with Tyler O'Neill and you could get him back to the team that drafted him and that guy has pop, right?
Yes.
There's options out there. Are either of them better than Rob Refsnyder? Yes, 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 and yes.
I don't think anybody could be worse than Rob Schneider. And it's just so unfortunate because like seems like such a good dude. Seems
Agreed.
like such a great dude. It's just like
It's just not working out.
I just don't know if it's just like the Mariners just kill right-handed guys who are
Platoon
supposed to.
bats.
Yeah, but like I just don't know because there have been great right-handed hitters, Nelson Cruz, do hit well here, and I just don't understand. Like Julio hits well at T-Mobile,
Randy hits well at
right? Yeah,
T-Mobile.
exactly. Like it's frustrating to see because it's the same script, different year, but Rob Refsnyder did the thing longer than other guys.
Yeah. You know,
It's frustrating.
it is frustrating, but it's also frustrating that the follower count has not been rising to the levels that we know that you can do. So you can help turn that around by giving us follow over on social media. You can find me, your boy, Coach Red, on X at the Real Coach Red, on Instagram at the Real underscore Coach Red, TikTok at the Real Coach Red. Also find the show over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, leave a comment or two. Kane, where you at?
Find me over on Twitter, Kane2406, TikTok, Kane0624. Also follow the show's socials over on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. False. Do it, freaking do it.
And as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.